On the news tonight, Supreme Court dismisses PDP suit seeking disqualification of Tinubu Shettima ticket. Divergent reactions trail 8 years of Buhari's administration as Ondo residents demand better performance from incoming government. Federal government unveils Nigeria Air aircraft ahead commencement of operations. And from the foreign scene, Mali protesters demand exit of UN peacekeepers over the deteriorating security situation. Good evening and thank you for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Timileyin Falade. The Supreme Court has dismissed the suit seeking the disqualification of Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima as presidential and vice presidential candidates of All Progressives Congress (APC). A 5-member panel of the Supreme Court held that the People's Democratic Party (PDP) lacked the locus standi to institute the suit. The panel said the PDP is not a member of the APC. The PDP had claimed that Shettima's nomination as Tinubu's running mate was in breach of the provisions of Sections 29, subsection 1, Section 33, 35, and 84, subsections 1 and 2 of the Electoral Act 2022. The opposition party argued that Shettima's nomination to contest the position of Vice President and Borno's Central Senatorial seat at the same time contravened the law. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, says the Supreme Court's dismissal of the case of the PDP against Kashim Shettima is not a setback to his quest for justice. Atiku via his official Twitter page said the party's legal team are primed to robustly prove that the election of February 25 was fraudulent, did not comply with the constitutional requirements and the electoral guidelines of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The PDP flag bearer added that the battle for democracy and the enthronement of a new order to spur growth and development in Nigeria is one to which he is committed to. The former vice president urged his supporters to exercise patience and conduct themselves peacefully as the party diligently conducts its litigation at the Presidential Election Tribunal Court. Now, the Court of Appeal Abuja has fined a former presidential candidate, Ambrose Owuru, 40 million naira for filing a suit seeking to stop the inauguration of the president-elect Bola Tinubu on May 29. The court ordered Owuru to pay the sum of 10 million naira each to President Muhammadu Buhari, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), and Tinubu. Justice Jamil Tukur read the lead judgment of the 3-man panel of the court held that Owuru embarked on a gross abuse of court process by filing a frivolous suit to provoke the respondents. Justice Tukur said the action of Owuru to resuscitate the case that died since 2019 at the Supreme Court was aimed at making the lower courts to go on collision course with supremacy of the apex court. Owuru, a presidential candidate of the defunct political party, Hope Democratic Party, HDP, in the 2019 presidential election, had prayed the courts of appeal Abuja to prohibit Buhari, Malami, and INEC from inaugurating the president-elect on May 29. Owuru predicated his grounds against inauguration of Tinubu or anybody else as successor to Buhari on the ground that he is the constitutionally adjudged winner of the 2019 election and has not spent his tenure as required by law. In the meantime, a federal high court sitting in Abuja has dismissed a suit filed by 3 individuals seeking to stop the inauguration of President-elect Bola Tinubu and his vice, Kashim Shettima, over race falsification and citizenship status in the documents Tinubu submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Justice James Omotosho, in a ruling, held that the suit by the trio was frivolous and an abuse of the court process. Meanwhile, Justice Omotosho ruled that the plaintiffs lacked the locus standi to file the suit, adding that the court could not exercise jurisdiction to hear it because it relates to a presidential election. He held that since the election has already been conducted, only the Court of Appeal has the jurisdiction to entertain cases arising from the presidential election. Omotosho then awarded 10 million naira in Tinubu's favor, 5 million naira in favor of the APC, and another 1 million naira to be personally paid by counsel for the plaintiffs to each of the respondents. Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima says the administration of Bola Tinubu may not be off to a rosy start. Both Tinubu and Shettima are expected to be sworn in on Monday, signaling the end of the administration of outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari after the completion of 2 4-year terms. Shettima, in an address delivered at the 2023 presidential inauguration public lecture held at the National Mosque, Abuja, assured Nigerians that Tinubu would hit the ground running. Shettima said there are certain decisions that the new administration will take, but in the fullness of time, Nigerians will come to appreciate. He added that the incoming administration does not have the luxury of time, as the challenges facing the nation are humongous. President Muhammadu Buhari has received an asset declaration form from the Code of Conduct Bureau. The form was presented to the President inside the presidential villa by the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Professor Muhammad Isa, who led other members of the Bureau to his office. This is compliance with the provision of the Constitution, which stipulates that all public officers shall declare the assets and liabilities on the assumption of office and at the end of the tenure of office. The President-elect Bola Tinubu, the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima, and 28 incoming governors and the cabinet members and state assembly members are also expected to submit their assets forms to the Code of Conduct Bureau. For 8 years of 2 terms as stipulated by law, President Muhammadu Buhari superintended over the affairs of Nigeria, a country regarded as the largest economy in Africa. In a matter of days, the Buhari administration will draw to a close, but Nigerians are still divided over the performance of the administration in the face of numerous challenges. Osrc reporter Omoriola Humbeji was in town to gauge the pulse of respondents in Akure, the Ondo State capital.
In the build-up to the 2015 general elections, President Muhammadu Buhari was seen by many Nigerians as the hope of the masses due to the prevailing circumstances.
The Nigerian economy is in deep trouble.
His administration had barely settled down when both inherited and new challenges began to take their toll on the nation. Nigerians, in their assessments, say the outgoing administration had its good, the bad, and ugly times. While some were quick to knock the presidency, in some areas, others applauded the government.
When you score him on infrastructure, provision of critical infrastructure, we talk in terms of the completion of the second Niger Bridge, we talk in terms of some critical road infrastructure in different parts of the country. I think they've done passably well.
If we look at area like agriculture, for instance, since we are looking at President Buhari's achievements holistically, in the area of agriculture, he tried. If I'm to score him, I will score him above 70%. We may not be feeling the impacts immediately, but on the long run, if not for the Fulani herdsmen, banditry and everything, Nigeria will have gone to another level in the area of agriculture.
The state of security of the country is another major thorn in the flesh of Buhari's administration, despite series of policies to tackle the menace. The Boko Haram crisis, herdsmen clashes, IPOB agitations, kidnappings and killings, to mention but a few, remain the nightmare of Nigerians and have marked it down.
The Fulani herdsmen crisis before he came to power, you can travel to any part of Nigeria with the exception of this extreme northeast that was completely dominated by the Boko Haram phenomenon. But since he came, his body language had let loose these Fulani criminals. Not all Fulanis are bad, but these criminal elements, they were just let loose. His body language didn't give signal that he's completely opposed to what they are doing.
In the area of youth employment, education and health sectors, Nigerians had this to say about President Muhammadu Buhari's administration in the last 8 years.
2 years ago, the total budget for education was 48 billion. Total budget, federal budget for education. Whereas National Assembly budgeted over 300 billion. And that explains why ASU goes on strike almost on a yearly basis. And that has affected the standard, the quality, and even the quantity of education in this country.
Nigeria has been alive to its responsibilities to the citizens who have the power. And we have to do Japan. Unemployment, underemployment, and there may be the basic things we need to live life.
It was too tentative on so many things. They were not too sure. It wasn't too sure-footed on so many areas. You know, of course, leaders make mistakes, but when you err on the side of not taking action, indeed, remember during the COVID-19, virtually Nigeria had to beg for the president to speak to them. You know, one of the things a leader should do is to inspire hope and believability in himself and his government.
The incoming administration is probably becoming the hope of the nation, as some are of the opinion that different approaches to addressing the present condition of the nation may be the answer to solving its various challenges.
I have studied the programs of the Lagos state government for years, even before he became the governor of Lagos state. And I knew he had a 50-year plan for Lagos state, which other governors are following. Today, Lagos is about the 6th largest economy in Africa. So, he has done a lot with that experience, with the fact that he understands the country more than the average Nigerian. I believe strongly he will do very well.
Meanwhile, the president has apologized to Nigerians who are in one way or the other hurt by his policies. But for Nigerians, the incoming administration must build on some of Buhari's policies and improve where necessary. Omoniola Mbiji, Osrc News.
The federal government has declared Monday, May 29th as a public holiday owing to the inauguration of Bola Tinubu as Nigeria's president. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, in a statement, congratulated all Nigerians on vacation, commended them for their faith in democracy. He enjoined them to continue to support and promote democracy through adherence to the rule of law and uphold all democratic institutions. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. We'll take a break now. When we come back, the federal government unveils aircraft for Nigerian Air. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. The reconstruction of the Akure-Ado Road and its dualization will open up industrialization and promote synergy between Ondo and Ekiti states. Minister of State for Transportation Ademola Adegoroye at the flag-off ceremony of the road reconstruction held in Akure said the project is long overdue after many years of neglect. Dignitaries across Ondo and Ekiti states graced the event. Reactions have continued to trail the re-award of contract for the reconstruction of the Akure-Ado Road. Minister of State for Transportation Ademola Adegoroye thanked the federal government for putting to rest the great challenge bedeviling residents of Ondo and Ekiti State, and appreciated Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu for his doggedness and unrelenting efforts in ensuring the road was re-awarded.
Akure-Ado Road is one that is important to our people. In the whole of Ondo and the state, see, there's one road that is important to our people. It is this Akure, Itaogolu, Iju, Ikere, Ado Ekiti Road. Because our Ekiti, Koniwa, we have become one. A lot of our people live in Akure but work in Ado Ekiti. A lot of people are from Ekiti but live here in Akure here. Because it will improve commerce. It will create employment. And so I want to give God all the glory. It is our governor who kept asking me, when he come making our negotiation, Akure-Ado Road here, I want to keep the minister. What is it because make sure
Ekiti State Governor Abiodun Yebanji, who described the road as a vital link to both states, said the reconstruction will enhance trade and commerce.
I want to commend the federal government of Nigeria under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari for awarding this project. I also want to assure the people of Ekiti State that my administration is committed to supporting the federal government in ensuring that this project is completed within the stipulated time and to the highest standards of quality. Let me use this medium to appeal to the contractors, Messrs. Kopek, Horizon and Samchase Nigeria Limited, to exhibit the expertise they are known for by delivering quality jobs.
Some traditional rulers in Akure North local government area described the project as historic and called on the federal government to hasten the reconstruction of the road.
We have been seeking for this opportunity for a very long time. And now my thanks will go to our Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, which is Akeredolu, Mr. Tokandu. I'm very, very happy. And I appreciate the federal government to give us this opportunity. And also my advice to because before, the resident of, even in my own community, we have been complaining about this road. So once this opportunity come out today, I'm very, very happy.
To this my territory, Mudubala governor, Mudubala federal, Mudubala Baba Wala Balaba, on grade 1. So them not Mudubala Mayo, pay all this soon, not to go better.
The reconstruction of the road to dual carriageway will cost over 90 billion naira and is expected to be completed within 24 months. Ondo State Commissioner for Lands, Infrastructure and Housing, Raimi Aminu, has assured the people of Ondo State that the Akure administration will continue to prudently utilize resources for life-changing projects across the state. The commissioner, while featuring an Osrc's Policymakers Program Roundtable, said projects embarked on by the Akure administration were based on need assessments. Osrc's Sahid Aribisala reports that the Lands and Infrastructure Commissioner revealed that 3 billion naira was lost to contractors who failed to execute projects under previous administrations.
An engineer, Mr. Raimi Aminu, is Ondo State Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing and was among the first 4 appointments made at the inception of the Oluwarotimi Akeredolu administration in 2017, then as a Senior Special Assistant. In line with the first and second term agenda of the Akeredolu administration, which places premium on infrastructure development, the activities of the ministry falls under the spotlight at this edition of Osrc program Roundtable.
A very huge platform for
the commissioner who noted that 3 billion naira was lost to contractors who failed to execute projects under the previous administrations, said Governor Akeredolu to cut such wastages ensured monies are only paid for work done.
That in the past, when project is awarded or contract is awarded,
mobilization was paid with APG, that's advancement guarantee from the contractors. Even I can tell you for free, despite the advance payment guarantee, some contractors will tax away with public funds. About 3 billion naira taxpayers' money are in different contractors' purse when we came on board. Mr. Governor said, anybody that believes in him, come and work for me. When you are giving your paper, your documents, sign agreement with government, as the job progresses, being as you go, and to you work for, that's what you get. And we stand, government stands to gain 2 things by this. Number one, government money will be paid out. Any money paid out is what the contractors has worked for. That's number one. Number two, quality is guaranteed.
Mr. Aminu, who was accompanied by top members of the ministry, said despite paucity of funds, projects are executed through needs assessment and not influence. He noted that projects under this administration are done across the 3 senatorial districts to stand the test of time. In the area of housing, the commissioner said the issuance of digitalized certificate of occupancy has commenced, while efforts are ongoing for digitalization of lands across the state.
What you know as of all is complex. And other states like Abuja and Lagos, they are using 2 of which is semi-digitalized. Now Mr. Governor now sent us to go and study Nasarawa, the Abuja and Lagos. Since then we've been on it. But I'm happy to inform you that since January last year, we issue out digitalized CFO.
Mr. Aminu said over 35 kilometers road maintenance project is ongoing, promising that the proposed flyover at Oyaribulem-Shagari Junction will be delivered in 12 months. The host and chairman of the Osrc Media Group, Mr. Kule Adebayo, in his address said the media will continue to raise the bar of conversation around governance for the benefit of people.
When information is passed, the information is passed to the receiver intact, and the reply from the receiver is received by the sender intact. That, in our own view, is the only way information can be shared, peace and security and progress can be guaranteed.
At the end of the conversation, the need for people to take ownership of government projects and availing unflinching support were emphasized. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Although state governments will continue to provide platforms for quick dispensation of justice through the creation of a robust judicial system, the State Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General Charles Titiloye spoke at the 2023 Law Week of Nigerian Bar Association Women Forum on the state held in Akure. Our correspondent, Kunle Ariyo, reports that the theme of the week was Women in Law in the Democratic Dispensation.
To bridge gender gap in Nigeria's political space is for more women to participate actively in politics and be part of the decision-making process. This apparently informed the theme of the maiden edition of the Law Week of the Nigerian Bar Association of Women Forum, which is Women in Law in the Democratic Dispensation. The keynote speaker, Adedoni Akinshulore of the Department of Public Law of Bafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, said women have the numerical strength to take position in the political space. They charged female lawyers to make themselves relevant in the country's democratic dispensation.
We are risen to the top of the profession and corporate world as a result of educational qualification. Are we using these individual basis to join the entire socio-political system? Of course, nobody doubts the influence of these successful women that we read in literature. But empirical evidence in the political field probably suggests otherwise.
The state lead of the association, Mrs. Aderosoye Adeyemi, said the essence of the event is to draw attention to the relevance and participation of female lawyers in Nigeria's democracy, while urging members to take up the challenge. Mrs. Adeyemi said the association would continue to prioritize their welfare and aspirations.
Explore the present situation of the country and carefully chose the team Women in Law in the Democratic Dispensation, which is to bring to fore the relevance and participation of female lawyers in Nigeria's democracy. as reflected in the objectives of NDAWF.
The State Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General Charles Sitiloye said the state government has given female lawyers a pride of place in the scheme of things, especially in the judiciary. He said the state government would continue to strive to improve on its administration of justice.
Women can rise up to the occasion and ensure that there's fairness in politics and the distribution of appointments in the country. And those states, I can tell you, Mr. Governor have done much in terms of appointment of women. In fact, he has done more than any other governor in the state.
The 2023 Law Week featured health work, medical checkup, and presentation of distinguished awards to eminent Nigerians. Kunle Aruyo, Osrc News.
This month's sanitation exercise will hold in Ondo State tomorrow with a charge to residents of the state to clean their environment. A statement by the General Manager of the Ondo State Waste Management Authority, Mr. Adefola Omowole, said there will not be restriction of movement due to the Children's Day celebration, which holds tomorrow. The statement implored residents of the state to use the period to clean up their surroundings while assuring the people that efforts are being intensified to ensure the state is cleaner and free of refuse dumps. The federal government has unveiled the aircraft for Nigeria Air. The first air flight landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja today. Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika, who confirmed the arrival, described it as a long and tedious journey, but thanked Nigerians for their support. He prayed that the Nigeria Air will be beneficial for the country and humanity. The development is part of plans to commence operations and unveiling of the delivery process after years of delays. Now to the foreign scene, protesters have gathered at Mali's capital, Bamako, to demonstrate against the United Nations peacekeeping mission there. They have accused the troops of failing to bring peace. The security situation has worsened, with tens of thousands of people forced from their homes amid fighting between security forces and armed groups linked to ISIL and Al-Qaeda. Before we go tonight, let's take another look at the major stories. The Supreme Court has dismissed the suit by the PDP seeking disqualification of Tinubu Shetima ticket. Divergent reactions have trailed the 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Although state residents have, however, demanded a better performance from the incoming government of Bola Tinubu. We brought to you that the federal government has unveiled Nigeria aircraft ahead of commencement of operations. And from the foreign scene, we told you that Mali protesters have demanded the exit of UN peacekeepers over the deteriorating security situation in the country. And that's the news. Thank you for watching. Good night.